What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and it may be kind of weird. What comes to your mind when you look at this picture? Like, what do you think is happening in this picture? Let me show it to you right now. Okay, so this is a picture that, like back in 6th grade, I was in a creative writing class, and our teacher, right at the beginning of our creative writing class, our teacher showed us this picture, and she asked all of us, what goes on in your mind when you see this picture? Like, what do you think is happening in this picture? And she gave us some time to think, and then we all started raising our hands to say what we think is happening. And a lot of the kids were saying, she's probably hallucinating, or she's having a nightmare or something, because it looks like she's really distressed in the picture, the woman in that picture. And then I thought of something. So I raised my hand, and the teacher called on me and she says, Joe, what do you think is going on in this picture? And if you look at the picture, you can see that she's holding her hand like this, and her fingers are all different colors. So this is what I said. I said, she's turning into candy, and she's eating herself. And then, when I said that, every single kid in the whole class, they all looked at me like I was nuts, and I was just like, what? It does look like that. And as a matter of fact, that actually did happen on an episode of Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, when Billy ordered all the chocolates and he started eating all of them, and then he turned into chocolate. I actually have that clip, so check it out right now. I'll show it to you.
It looks like Billy has somehow turned into solid chocolate.
No way! Ew! Chocolate! Ew! Ow! Ouch!
Billy, you're eating yourself.
I can't help it! I'm so yummy!
Billy.
It doesn't hurt, really. You get used to it.
That show was funny, but eventually it got too disgusting for me to watch. But it does look like that's what's happening in the picture. Let me show it to you again. See it? And then eventually our creative writing teacher said that picture was drawn by someone who was... What was going on in that picture was she was supposed to be sign languaging color. And I was like, color? What the hell? Your fingers don't turn different colors when you're doing sign language for color. It looks more like she's turning into candy and she's eating herself. But then again, a lot of people might think, if you were turning into candy, why would you eat yourself? And, well, in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, when Billy was turning into candy and eating himself, he still felt it. But if you really were turning into candy and eating yourself in real life, all your nerves would be turned into candy, and you wouldn't be able to feel yourself biting into your fingers at all, because candy doesn't have feelings at all. Oh my god, I have such a strange imagination. But it did make sense. That's really what it looked like. And you know, as a matter of fact, when I think about it now, maybe those kids maybe all my classmates, the reason why they were staring at me like that when I said that, maybe they didn't think I was crazy after all. Maybe the reason why they were all staring at me like that was like, oh, Joe, I would have never thought of that. It really does look like she's turning into candy and eating herself. Oh, wow. That's very thoughtful of you. That's probably what that stare meant, but, no, they definitely thought I was crazy. But anyway, so... When I was young, I was really tall for my age. Like, right now, for all you people who want to know random facts about me, I'm 6'3" tall right now. Yeah, believe it or not, I really am. And, believe it or not, I stopped growing when I was, like, 10 or 11 years old. I'm serious, I really did stop growing when I was 10 or 11 years old. Like, I have a closet full of shirts. Yeah, I actually do wear shirts when I go out. I have a whole closet full of shirts that still fit me now from elementary school. And they still look pretty cool too, but I'm not going to try them on right now. And so I was like unnaturally tall, and people always thought I was older just because I was tall. And I remember one day, this was actually for my fifth. Well, okay, here another random fact about me. I never really had any friends when I was a kid. I never had any friends when I was growing up. Like when I was a kid, like you know how you guys have like all those friends who you hang out with or played with when you were like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 years old? Well, I didn't have that at all. But I did have one friend though, and he was made out of plastic. No, seriously, he really was made out of plastic. For my 5th birthday, I got a Ken doll for my 5th birthday. Like, you know, Ken and Barbie. Not the Ken doll I talked about in my other videos. Not the man who wants to look like a Ken doll. But I mean, like, a real Ken doll that's made out of plastic that's sold at Walmart. And, I had him back when I was little, and I was so happy to get him because he didn't look real, but he was so detailed and everything, and I was so fascinated by it. He had this brown hair and these blue eyes, and he was white, and I forgot what clothes he wore, though. Oh, crap, I did forget what clothes he wore, though. Oh, wait, no, I always changed his clothes. So, I never wanted to name him Ken because all the Ken dolls were named Ken, and yeah, I wanted to make him more original. So I named him... What did I name? Oh yeah, I named him Marty. Yeah, that's what I named him. I named him Marty after the main character from Silver Bullet, who was played by Corey Haim, because he kind of reminded me of Marty from Silver Bullet. And I used to love that movie when I was little. But he kind of reminded me of Marty from Silver Bullet because he looked so much like him, the brown hair, the blue eyes, and being white. So I named him Marty. And, like, normal kids, when they have, like, a doll or an action figure or something, they just bring it out, play with it, then leave it laying around, then only bring it out and play with it. But me and Marty, everywhere I went, Marty went with me. Like, even when I go to school, I'd always pack him in my backpack, and then I'd play with him outside when no one else was playing with me at all. Sometimes when, my adopted parents would take me to the park, I'd bring Marty with me, and I'd put him on the swing set, and I'd be pushing him on the swing, and, I wasn't, like, really able to push him, so I'd always push, like, the chains on the swing set, and then he'd always fall off, and I would get upset. And then sometimes I'd roll him down the slide and everything. It was so much fun. And then sometimes I get on the teeter-totter with him, but as you all know that, I mean, like, a 6'3" kid who's 9 or 10 years old and a like 10-inch doll who probably doesn't even weigh 1/2 of a pound. It's not going to be very fun going on the teeter-totter with them because you're just going to be down there the whole entire time, waiting for them to shift their weight. But we're getting off topic. So, I played with Marty all the time. And also, when I was a little kid, I had a journal that I wrote in, and I'd always would write about all the stuff I did with Marty. Like I'd write, March 7th, 2005, I went swimming with Marty today, or March 2nd, or June 2nd, 2005, oh wait, no, he already passed away by then. But I'm gonna get to that later, though. But I'd always write in my journal about all the stuff I did with Marty. Like, one time I wrote about how I went to the fair with him. One time I wrote about how I went on a road trip with Marty. One time I wrote about how we went to Mall of America together, because our parents took us. And me and Marty were such good friends. We were like Johnny and Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy. Yeah, exactly like Johnny and Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy. And, oh god, I really miss him now. This is sad. But, unfortunately, me and Marty, our friendship didn't last forever, because it's kind of my fault, though. But, I was playing with Marty outside, and I wanted to... I don't know why, but I always had a tendency to throw him up in the air. And I was throwing him up in the air over and over again, and I'd always catch him. But one time, I didn't catch him. The one time I wasn't able to catch him, he fell. He landed head first on a cinder block outside, and his head broke off. And I was so upset because I had that. When did that happen? I was only 10 years old when that happened. And I had him since I was like 5 years old. So we spent 5 years together and he breaks and he dies. And I was so upset. But, you know, I tried saving him. I got him. I got some. I didn't use glue. I used tape. I tried taping his head back on, but it kept falling off over and over again. And I was so upset. And I was like, oh man. And I was like, just let him go, Joe. You just have to let him go. So I got myself a shoebox and I went outside. I dug a grave outside and I had a little funeral for him. And I was so upset when I buried him because no one wants to bury their best friend, even if he's made out of plastic and even if he doesn't talk to you at all. But I buried him in the backyard and it was really sad. But then, a few months later, my younger cousin came over, because he died in the spring, but this happened in the summer. My younger cousin came over, and I was 10 and she was like 8 or 9 years old. She always hated me because she thought I was weird, and she was always trying to look for ways to get me in trouble all the time. Like, she was always making up lies. If she wasn't making up if she wasn't like finding stuff to get me in trouble with, she was always making up lies about me and trying to get me in trouble, but she never was able to get me in trouble at all, so that's the good part. And then, one time, like, cause I just kept my distance from her and didn't be bothered, so I was downstairs watching TV. I did not know this, but she was upstairs in my room probing through all my stuff, and she found my journal I kept, and I think you all see where this is going to. Because when Marty died, I wrote about it in my journal. Like, I wrote, Marty died, it's so sad. But, she went into my room, she found my journal, and she started reading my journal, and she read about how all the stuff I wrote about me and Marty. But then, this is what happened. She read the entry I wrote when Marty died, and this is what I remember writing. Dear Journal, I'm really sad right now. I killed my best friend. We were playing outside and I threw him up in the air and he landed and his head broke off. It's all my fault he's dead. I killed him. I tried taping his head back on, but it wouldn't stay on. So I buried him in the backyard. I was so sad and I'm never gonna forget him. I always will miss Marty. That's what I wrote in my journal. But she wasn't smart enough to know that Marty was not a real boy. He was actually just a Ken doll I had. So she got really freaked out. And, she knew how to dial 911. Okay, you guys see where this is going to. So, she called the police and told them, I remember her phone call, but she told them that I killed someone and buried him in the backyard. So then, all of a sudden these cop cars show up outside my house, and I was so freaked out because I didn't know what was going on, and like, she lets the police in, and then she points to me and she says, there he is! There's the boy that killed that other boy! Arrest him and send him to jail! And I was so freaked out because I seriously thought I was gonna go to jail for killing my Ken doll friend. So then they walked over and they asked me what happened, and I said, it was just an accident! I was throwing him up in the air and his head broke off! And then they said, where is he? And I said, he's out there, buried there! And then I was pointing, and then they looked, and they were able to tell that something was buried there, but they knew it wasn't a human body. Then they all just started cracking up laughing. My parents, her parents came in, the police explained what happened, they all started laughing, but then it wasn't a laughing matter because my cousin actually got in a ton of trouble for that because she called the police when there was no emergency, and I didn't get in trouble, but she did because she was the one who was calling the police, and her parents were really pissed off at her. And you know, the whole moral of this story is, well, first, don't be a snitch, but another moral is don't mess with Joe Winko. She had to learn that the hard way. So, yeah, well, actually, being a snitch. I mean, if someone actually does kill someone, I hope you would tell someone, or at least try to stop it. So I take that back. But I didn't really kill, well, I didn't really kill anything. I accidentally broke his head off, and, you know, if I go out there and try finding him right now, I'll probably find him buried in the backyard somewhere, but... Oh, crap. I forgot exactly where I buried him. And I'm not even sure if he's still out there, because my adoptive mom is always plowing up the yard, because she has a whole garden in the backyard, and... Oh, yeah. Oh, I think he might be lost now. Well, either way, I could always just drive over to Walmart and get a new one, but what the hell would I do with it? Never mind. So, don't forget to like me on Facebook, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, and don't forget to like me on Facebook, and don't forget to check out Scaretown. But also, don't forget to like me on Facebook. So that's it, and thanks for watching, and make sure to comment and share your thoughts on everything I talked about in this video, and yeah, peace out, people.
For whoever you are, wherever you are, the sun